to get up at 7:15 to put on clothes and go to the bathroom basically, and I still couldn't even do one of those 2 tasks properly. Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining me today for my first week of law school. I did another one of these videos last year and you guys seemed to like it, so I thought I would do another one. Obviously this year is going to look very different from the first week of classes, and day 1 has proved no exception. We are totally online, so there won't be any of me walking around on campus because I'm literally not allowed on campus. This is my desk and classroom for the next week. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2020, that year that will go down in history as the one that just shouldn't have existed. On Mondays, I only have 1 morning class, so I've already completed that for today, and while if today is any indication of how the rest of the semester is going to go, it is going to be an interesting journey. My class on Monday is family law at 10:30 in the morning, and so I had made a little bit of a silly decision last night to stay really late. So I woke up this morning at about 9 to a slew of emails from my school saying Zoom is down, the whole website isn't working, your classes are either going to be canceled or you should just keep on notice for more emails from your professor with next steps. I then got another email like 5 minutes later from my professor trying to figure out a workaround, and then 5 minutes later another email from that professor. So eventually it all got figured out and I was able to log into class at 10:30, but I know it was a giant disruption for most students around the country this morning. Once class started, even more stuff came up. I forgot my video had to be on for class. I had maintenance workers coming in today to fix some things in my apartment, and of course the 1 hour I was going to be in class today was the 1 hour that they decided to show up to bring in a ladder and change out lights and fix my shower from draining and glue a thing back on my wall. It was the whole thing. I'm very grateful to those maintenance workers, by the way. They do a great job. It was just a little bit of inconvenient timing. Once class ended though, I was able to eat a good lunch, and now I have been working on collecting my syllabi and working on readings for tomorrow. I'm actually going to be in a meeting with my family law professor later this afternoon for office hours because I will actually be a research assistant for her on what I'm assuming will be more criminal law focused projects this semester, because taking 16 units isn't enough for me. I need to work 10 hours a week too. I don't know what I'm doing to myself. I'm actually going to be heading over to that. I say heading over like I'm moving somewhere. I'm just gonna continue sitting on my couch. But before we do that, I wanted to show you what my setup was going to be for the foreseeable future. Why don't you move on over this way? My setup for this is basically to have my syllabi or reading or whatever on this side of the screen and my notes on the right side of the screen. I've decided to try using Evernote for my notes this semester. Normally I've been writing down my notes in notebooks when I actually physically go to class because a lot of professors don't allow computers. Obviously that's not really relevant in 2020. And then when I'm actually in a Zoom class, there's like, well, if you've probably been on Zoom, you know, there's like a little window that you can minimize it to, and so I put that window like in front of my reading or whatever part we aren't looking at, so I can have 3 actually different programs on the screen at one time. I don't know if you can hear that noise, but it's my fridge and it makes weird knocking noises and I don't know why. My phone is here right now. Obviously it's not there during class. Got my law school water bottle, and then this is the planner I'll be using this year. It's different than what I had last year, but it was so cute and it was a little more suited to the way, whoa. So this is my planner for this school year. You can see it has some nice tabs for every month, which I love. And I flipped over to September because everything's a little bit more filled out. But you can see I have family law on Mondays. I've got evidence and international courts on Tuesdays. Family law again, criminal procedure, lawyer ethics, and comparative business negotiation on Wednesdays. No one is allowed to talk to me on Wednesdays. I already told my family I will not be answering my phone. Just assume I'm alive because you're not gonna hear from me. And then Thursdays, I've got evidence again and criminal procedure again. And then Fridays, I'm free. Saturdays, I published my video in case you didn't know. And that's pretty much my schedule. So I think I'm just going to limit this primarily to my classes and homework. I still use Google Calendar, which I can show you, for pretty much everything else. I'm not gonna write all my meetings in that like I did before. Here we go. So this was my schedule for this last month. And then this is my schedule for next month. All that yellow is basically just my classes. I like using that for meetings because it's really fast and I'm usually looking at my phone first, whereas I don't want to type in all of my assignments to my phone, so that's a little easier to transfer down on a written format. So between these two things, I'm pretty covered. Obviously, all of my syllabi are on my computer if I want to look at the assignments there, and Google Calendar is accessible from the internet on my computer as well. That's pretty much my whole setup, and really all I have to say for today, I think, unless something cool happens in my research assistant meeting, but I'll probably just tell you about that when I vlog tomorrow. The only other thing I wanted to show you is just hysterical. I ordered these blue light glasses from Amazon because the school said that they would pay for them as part of our tech stipend. It said one size fits all. You make a judgment for yourself. Hello. It's day 2 around 11 a.m. I think, and I've already completed one class today, which was evidence at 7:30 in the morning, which nobody needed. Trust me, if there was any way to avoid taking class before 9 a.m., I would take it, but this literally was the only option for the class, and I didn't want to have to push it to next semester. It was a whole credit thing and whatever. The point is, I had to take it at 7:30. That was just as horrible as anyone would expect it to be. Even though I got a decent amount of sleep last night, I think I'm still reeling from 2 nights ago when I only got like 4 or 5. So I'm still exhausted. I have so much work to do. I have a meeting with the rest of the criminal law board, and I have another class this evening called International Courts and Tribunals, which I'm very excited about because instead of being lecture and exam based, it's actually more about oral arguments and learning some of the basics of international law, which I know nothing about. Even though I don't really have any interest in international law as a career, I do have a huge interest in going to Italy next fall as a study abroad program. We will see if that works out with the state of the world. I would imagine that a study abroad program would probably talk about international law. I don't actually know, but if it does, I will be hopefully well prepared by this class. The class is actually taught by a federal judge who is the coach for the International Moot Court program called Jessup at my school. I thought about trying out, but ultimately realized that there was just no way I could make the time commitment. Later this week, I'm going to go to the information meeting for the National Moot Court team and see if that's more doable for my schedule, but I'm still not sure. Either way, I'll be glad to be working on my public speaking skills instead of just my research and writing skills, although I'm sure that will also be a component of this class. Tomorrow I have 4 classes that I have done no preparation for yet, so that's great. Normally I would prepare for those classes over the weekend, but I really had a mental block in being able to treat last weekend like a school weekend like I should have, so hopefully I'll get more into that routine this weekend. I don't think it will be a problem going forward. The last thing I can think to tell you is that yesterday I had that meeting with the research assistant professor and it went really well. She wants me to do some site checking for cases and some basic proofreading, which I'm obviously very comfortable with from having constantly been doing that with you guys for your personal statements. I know this is application season, so they have been rolling in and you've been keeping me busy. I appreciate it, but I'm not too busy to not take on more. If you guys are interested, per usual, you can find all that information on my website and Fiverr, which you can find linked in the description below. I think that's pretty much it for now, but if anything else comes up later today, I will let you know, and of course you will see my exhausted face tomorrow, at least in a new shirt. Because if you're wondering if I am wearing the same outfit as yesterday, the answer is yes. And you know what? I don't have to justify myself because I'm comfortable and I'm living at home and no one else has to smell me. On day 3, I'm coming at you from the only other spot in my living room to sit. Variety is the spice of life, you know? But seriously, I just needed a break from sitting on my couch and staring at my computer, so I'm actually doing my reading for my negotiation class this evening. Technically, it's called comparative business negotiation, because negotiation was an intersession class we took in January for 1 credit. I liked the professor, and I needed another 2-credit class for this semester, so we're just doing another one, but we're reading this book, Negotiation Genius, and it's an interesting topic that I don't think I'm that good at, which is why I'm taking the class in part. I feel like it's a skill that I could improve on. Today is the by far and away busiest day of my week. So I got up early this morning to do some of this homework because it's the only homework for today I didn't have a chance to do yesterday. So I got up early, I read for about an hour of this book, then I had family law, then I've been doing my laundry, I started lunch, I'm reading again, and I have another class in an hour for criminal procedure, which is going to focus on police and investigation, which should be really interesting in this time of history. After criminal procedure, I think I have like half an hour to continue reading. I'm gonna be doing this right up until 6 p.m. But to continue reading, and then what do I have next? Oh, lawyer ethics, which is with the same professor I have for evidence. I've heard mixed reviews about him, but in our first class of evidence, I thought it was pretty cool and chill, so I don't have a problem with him yet. Thankfully, the ethics homework was really short last night, which was great because I had to do it at 10 p.m. And then tonight, my negotiation class ends at 9, and I'll work for another hour or 2 on my evidence homework for tomorrow morning because that's 7:30, so there's no way I'm getting up earlier than that. Just a go, go, go. So after my evidence class ends at, I think, around 9, then I'll have a couple hours to do my criminal procedure homework for later that afternoon, and I'll have the National Moot Court meeting at noon. The end of criminal procedure will conclude my first week of law school classes. So I will say it's good to know that it is doable for me to do all of my homework during the week. I actually could just wake up Monday morning and go like crazy until Thursday afternoon, which is what I've pretty much been doing, and get it all done, but it will involve very little sleep or free time. So that's not my ideal situation, but it's good to know I could do it if I'm really in a pinch. All right, I think my bread has defrosted, so I'm gonna go make my tuna fish sandwich now and then continue learning how to be a negotiation genius. My shirt was so backwards a minute ago. And it's not one of those shirts that it's like, oh, it's pretty much same front to back, like there's a tag or whatever. There's like a knot at the bottom of the shirt. So that was in the back, and I only realized because the tag made a little dent on my shirt while I was setting up my camera. I don't know what it is about these 7:30 a.m. classes, because I actually went to bed at 11 p.m. last night, which I know isn't that early, but did allow me to get a full 8 hours of sleep. It didn't matter because I still had to get up at 7:15 to put on clothes and go to the bathroom basically, and I still couldn't even do one of those 2 tasks properly. Anyway, it's Thursday. Finished my 7:30 class, went back to bed for an hour. That is totally going to be scheduled into the routine from now because apparently it's the only way I can function for the rest of the afternoon. I don't know if it's coming across in the video, but I can tell my voice sounds really weird right now, and it's because I'm tired, but I've slept 9 hours by now, so I don't know what's going on. I need to do about 10 pages of reading for my criminal procedure class, which is at 1 o'clock, but before then at noon, I have a meeting for the National Moot Court team. Not sure if I'm gonna join it yet. That's kind of why I'm going to the meeting. And then after my class, I have a little bit of work that I want to do today regarding my negotiation class from last night. So we had a simulation last night where I was a buyer of a sugar bowl and another person in the class was the seller of a sugar bowl. And you each had different information about the background, where the sugar bowl came from, why I wanted to buy it, how much money I had to buy it, how much money I was willing to buy it for, and same thing for the seller. So you kind of have to negotiate and figure out what a good common ground would be and what a price was. Obviously, the goal for any negotiator is to get the best value, but ultimately what the class is about and what this professor really emphasizes is thinking about the underlying interests behind each issue and negotiation. So not just the position of, I will pay $1,000 and nothing more for this bowl, but what are you actually trying to get out of this negotiation? Maybe it is a sugar bowl. Maybe it's a new business partner. Maybe you're looking for some other kind of financial gain. Whatever it is, that's what you're actually negotiating about, even though you're not negotiating in those terms explicitly. Per usual, I'm making something really simple sound really complicated. So if you're interested in negotiation, we read Getting to Yes in the intercession class. I thought it was really easy to understand and a good overall book to apply to life. So I would recommend that to you. I also only read the first 2 chapters of Negotiation Genius, but it seems pretty straightforward as well. So if you don't want to take a full-on class, but you want to kind of understand what I'm talking about, those are 2 recommendations for you: Getting to Yes and Negotiation Genius. I felt really good about the negotiation though, because afterwards we all reported what number we had come up with, and I actually got the best deal out of everybody in the class. So I was pretty proud of myself. It helped a lot that I had a seller who was really forthcoming with information. Obviously, sometimes people are just like, get this away from me, and other people are like, no, you're gonna pay all the money that you possibly have. So I had someone who was really easy to work with and come up with a number for, but I would like to give myself a little credit for kind of like doing the reading and trying to understand the material beforehand. Oh, but anyway, for negotiation, we have to write journals kind of reflecting on the simulations. So I think I'm going to be doing that Thursday afternoons, so I don't have to do it super late Wednesday night, but it's still fresh on my mind. So that's what I'll do later today before I do either or both my book club with friends from Wheaton that we're doing over Zoom, which has been really fun so far. It's only been like 2 weeks, but it's a nice way to force myself to do some fun reading outside of class. And also the Carver Project, which I know I've talked about before on this channel, and is normally a book club, but I think this semester is more of a speaker series. It's a Christian group at WashU that has different branches in all of the different schools, so I'm in the law school branch of it. And we have our first introductory meeting tonight on Zoom as well. So, my battery pack died. Anyway, all I was gonna say is I don't have class tomorrow, but I have a meeting with one of the boards that I'm a VP for, which is YAFTI, the Young Advocates for the Incarcerated. We're going to talk about a panel on the school to prison pipeline that we're hosting later in the year. And then we also have a student Q&A for incoming 1Ls. So I'll be in a room for both YAFTI and Criminal Law Society answering their questions as they come in. So I think that's it for now, but I'll probably check in again tomorrow or later today. Who knows? I know you can't see, but to actually film on a tripod so it isn't shaky, I have to like do this half squat. My legs are definitely getting workout from doing that every day while filming. It is day 5. It's actually towards the end of day 5 because I had a nice slow morning where I got to catch up on sleep. It was lovely. And then I called my brother because it was his birthday. So happy birthday, Eli. Welcome to your 3rd decade of life. Today, as far as school went, I just had the student organization meeting and Q&A. We got to meet lots of cool students who were interested in participating and getting notifications for YAFTI and for Criminal Law Society. So I enjoyed talking with some of them and maybe some of you who are watching, I don't know. I also caught up with a friend, and I'm actually going to be heading out to dinner with another friend that just graduated that I haven't seen since the beginning of summer. So looking forward to that. Last night, remember all those like social engagements I was telling you about? Well, I did none of them. 4 o'clock hit and I had been working straight since like 9 a.m. Monday morning, and I just didn't want to talk to anybody anymore. So I think going forward, Thursday afternoons are going to be more like my Fridays, and then actual Fridays will be kind of like my Saturdays. Which is fine, you know, we're figuring it out as we go. Overall, thinking about the classes I had and my first impressions, I generally good first impressions of all of my professors and teaching styles. We'll definitely see how that progresses as the school year goes on, but normally I can tell if it's gonna be like an absolute disaster, and we didn't have any of those, so that's great. Oh, my legs hurt. My new computer is working great, and I got the mouse in the mail. Let me show you. as the mouse pad and mouse. So overall, a very tiring week of law school, which was pretty much entirely my fault, but good to know what is doable in a week and what is not. I'm excited about some of the things that I'll be learning, and I feel confident that I will be able to learn them as soon as I can fully adjust to this online schedule and virtual school that we all have to do. Thank you guys so much for joining me for my first week of law school. I'm sorry it wasn't as interesting as last year's was, because you just saw me talking in my apartment from different angles every day. I don't really know what else to say from here. I will see you guys next Saturday with another video. Until then, God bless.